Warning, this video may be triggering for some. Viewer discretion is advised. I wonder if she heard about that story. She was getting away from a controlling, jealous man too in Texas. DeAndre Flanagan, he would kidnap their daughter from a daycare and make the mother watch as he killed their 2-year-old daughter Zavea during a FaceTime call. Kirsten Watson is still waiting for justice in that horrific crime. There are too many stories like this, and unfortunately, we will have many more. There is now another family waiting for justice. Meshay Melendez, 27 years old. She went by the name Carmen. I looked on her Facebook page. As early as February 9th, she posted a birthday celebration with friends, family, and her boyfriend was there, and she thanked him for making her birthday good. She posts a lot, especially about her pretty little daughter, 7-year-old Layla. On Valentine's Day, there were no public pictures, just words, and I'm gathering that she spent that time with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is Kirtland Warren, 28 years old. Kirtland, he's been out on bail. He was arrested. Apparently, he killed someone, leaving their body in a ditch in Arkansas in 2017. I'm guessing that Carmen knew about this, or a little bit about it at best, or maybe he lied flat out. I don't know about the entire situation. It doesn't even matter. People change, and I'm not completely sure about the situation, but the fact is that he was out on bail because of a murder. On May 2nd, she shares a post, quote, "Please know that you can make a beautiful life for yourself even if you lost many years of it to trauma and abuse," end quote. On May 11th, she posted, quote, "Some shit will really affect you in a way that makes you give up on anything that has to do with what affected you," end quote. That was also her last post. Carmen and her daughter went missing.
Vancouver police are looking for a mother and daughter who've been missing now for more than a week. 27-year-old Meshay Melendez and her 8-year-old daughter Layla Stewart were last seen on the morning of Sunday, March 12th in the 7700 block of Vancouver Mall Drive. Police found Meshay's car just a short distance away from that location yesterday. If you see them or if you have any information about where they may be, call Vancouver Police.
Kirtland Warren was a person of interest. Early March, Kirtland was arrested on domestic charges and firing a gun inside Carmen's apartment, December of 2022. Kirtland would call Carmen from Clark County Jail, which was recorded, and he would tell her that the domestic abuse charges were all her fault, and she needed to figure out a way to have the charges against him dropped. But the judge had given him bail, and he was able to bail out. So, are you keeping up with me? This man was bailed out twice for murder and attempted murder. He bonded out, didn't have to use an electrical monitoring device, even though he scored high on a reassessment, being that he will probably get into some more trouble because of his pending prior crime. This was overlooked. He was on the streets now, and he was headed to Carmen. It's believed that she had a restraining order on him. I don't know if this was before the birthday celebration or after, but she had a restraining order on him. And I will speak briefly about restraining orders. Oh, I almost had forgot what I wanted to say about the restraining orders. I had said something about the fact that I didn't know if Carmen had the restraining order before the birthday celebration and Valentine's Day. I'm not just speaking on her case. I'm speaking on on the restraining orders in general. A lot of people say a piece of paper, is not going to stop me from doing something to you. And that is true. A piece of paper isn't going to stop the person if they're trying to get you. We know that. But I do know, and I'm not saying that Carmen did this, but I do know that other women have went and received a restraining order, and they pretty much thought they were going to keep this restraining order to now keep their man under check, if you will. Like, for instance, if you know that there's a restraining order on him, you guys could spend 3 or 4 days together. Everything's great. Everyone's happy. And then you catch him in the bathroom texting somebody. And then you are now calling the police because you have this restraining order. A lot of women do use a restraining order, and that's not what it's for. A restraining order is to keep this person away from you. So if he is around your house, if he is following you, if he is doing something, you can call the police. And if he is within 20 feet or at your house or lurking, he can be arrested. It does help to a point. But the best thing to do is to, seriously, if your life is in danger, you don't want to endanger anybody else's life, take yourself, take your children, take what you need, and just go. The babysitter, that's what they're calling her. I don't know if it was a friend of hers, but the babysitter reported to the police that Kirtland came to pick up Layla. She witnessed that Carmen was in his car, but she was unresponsive, and she was naked from the waist down. And Layla ended up going with this man, and her mother that was unconscious. Could she have even been deceased at that moment? I don't know. But the little girl went. On March 19th, Carmen's mother located her daughter's vehicle outside of Kirtland's apartment. She called the police. The police would arrest him on multiple charges inside the apartment. The investigators found blood, Layla's clothing. It was consistent with what she was wearing, things that she owned, and a purse with the identification of Carmen that was in one of Kirtland's vehicles. Kirtland's cell phone, also his GPS, had shown that he was in the area. So his arrests were witness tampering, domestic violence orders, assault, the drive-by shooting, and in all unlawful possession of a firearm. Now she's been missing for over 1 week. Kirtland is in jail, and he's refusing to speak, and Carmen and Layla are still missing. Now on Washagill Road, around 9:40 a.m., a woman walking her dog, she said she saw 2 life-size mannequins down on the embankment, and those were the bodies of Carmen and Layla. The medical examiner said Layla Stewart had been shot twice in her head from a small caliber projectile, and Carmen had a single bullet to her left temple. Kirtland Warren had been booked on 2 counts of first-degree murder for the death of Meshay Melendez and Layla Stewart. He is being held on a $1 million bail. So basically, he can get out if he makes that $1 million bail. But he will be monitored this time. Also, his bail in Arkansas has been revoked. His arraignment is scheduled for April 17th. Carmen was young enough to be my daughter. Domestic abuse affects the entire family. I watched the interviews with the friends, the family, the brother. They are heartbroken that these two family members are no longer in their life, and they died at, again, another senseless domestic violence crime. What Kirtland did cannot be undone. And the reason why I say I'm old enough to be her mother, because anybody I know that's going through a domestic violence situation, I will tell them the same exact things. I personally can no longer entertain friends and family going through domestic abuse. I can only offer them advice. And there's a reason why. Because I tried back in the day, and I become the problem. When I try to help my friends, they either go back and it gets worse, back and forth, or I'm the problem because I'm trying to check on them, so now they're getting beaten even more because I'm concerned. It's a big thing. And if anybody has been in a situation helping somebody get out of a domestic abuse situation, they know exactly what I'm talking about. You become the enemy trying to help your friend or family member get out of that horrible situation that they're in. Ike and Tina Turner. We found out that Tina Turner was abused when the movie came out. At least that's when I found out. Casey and Mary J. Blige. This was they were a little bit older than me, but I still to this day love both of their music. And I would read maybe in Vibe magazine or listening to Wendy Williams. That's right, Wendy Williams, 98.7 Kiss FM. And I remember she would say things, and that's when we knew that Mary was being beaten by Casey. Chris Brown and Rihanna. This was when the internet was more out there, but we saw pictures. We saw that horrible picture of Rihanna, and I believe Chris Brown actually got that picture tatted on his neck, but we saw that horrible picture, and that was it. We didn't see them in real life action. And you guys know I always go to Texas to get to Atlanta. Okay. I was on Carmen's page, and on Valentine's Day she had posted a video of Blueface giving Krishan Rock some roses. Mind you, I like Krishan Rock. I do. And everybody knows right now she is in a very violent, turbulent relationship. And what I'm saying is every generation, it seems, has one. And it's like watching Blueface and Krishan. It's like a train wreck waiting to happen, you know? What I'm trying to say here is this is what Carmen was looking at. I don't know if she was reflecting on her own situation, maybe. I have no idea, but I know that this is what the younger people are looking at. And it's very sad to see Krishan always drinking, and the girl is very talented. And I know that she loves Blueface to a point, but I can only see this ending in some dark tragedy. And it's not always the man that is the one being domestically abusive. Sometimes the woman does too. I haven't really read about the story, but I heard about the story about a woman that shoots a man on live because he was coming back to the home to retrieve his clothes. That's what I heard. But it's not always the men who are the murderous ones in the situation. It can be the women too. I do not know really what to say to people to get them to leave. But nothing good is going to ever come out of this situation. It doesn't matter how much you love the person. It doesn't matter how much the person says that they love you. To put hands on you is not a good thing. If you've seen this before in your life with your own parents or people that your mother may have been involved with, it's never right. You have to break the cycle, especially when you have children, girls or boys watching this. You don't want your son to feel like he can get older and start abusing women, and you don't want your daughter to be in an abusive relationship. There are 1-800 domestic hotlines that can help you get out that situation. It's not even good to go to a friend or family member's house, because your trust and believe your loved one knows, or your significant other, I should say, know. They know where your friends and family lives, and they're coming there. And a lot of people have gotten murdered for trying to help somebody else that was in a domestic relationship. If you have to go to a women's abuse shelter for women and children out of state, go. That's the best place. Take whatever you can get and go. Plan ahead and start leaving. Start saving money. Start to get the quickest way out. If you want all your stuff, get the quickest way out and leave. And don't return. They can help you make a life for yourself somewhere else. It's a tragedy that just gets worse. It never gets better. These men, and I'm only going to talk about the men right now. There are women like this, but these men are controlling, they're jealous, they're abusive, and they're never going to stop. They're never going to stop their situation. They don't care. They will go to great lengths to hurt you. I strongly believe he planned this. This is why the baby had 2 bullets to her head, because he was just making Carmen suffer. So maybe when she got to the house to pick up her daughter, she might have been just unconscious, maybe not dead at the time. I don't know. This man is crazy. He's a nutcase. And this is what I mean by domestic abuse affects the entire family. If you have to go to a woman's shelter out of state, which is the best, go. If you're in a domestic abuse situation now, start making your getaway now. Sometimes you don't even have the time. Just go, take your kids and go. Do not go to a family or friend's house. They will find you and it will be worse for everybody. I've read too many stories about a man coming and killing the entire family and just taking the woman just to bring her somewhere else to kill her. Story on top of stories, and they're the same, just different names and different states of where they live and different amounts of people that was killed during this domestic violence. My mother told me something that just stuck with me. She said, if he hits you once, shame on him. If he hits you twice, shame on you. And I didn't understand it until it happened to me. So, I will never, ever let it get to a second time, because it will. I don't care how sorry and remorseful they are. They can do it January 5th, 2023. And not do it again until August 5th, 2030. But it's going to happen again. You got to leave. You got to leave. And I know there's a lot of people that may listen to this and are currently in a domestic abuse situation or know someone that is. I definitely plan on talking about domestic abuse a little bit more. But for right now, please get some help. Thank you.
Fucking let go, 'cause we're way too involved just to cut in that cold. Way too in deep, way too in love just to fucking let go, 'cause we're way